1, 2, 3, 4, 5 present here in person, and it looks like we also have 1, 2, 3, 4 on the call, so we're at 9. And we might have a couple more coming down the hall. So welcome everyone to the December this says November, but it is the December meeting of the PSA. Please know that this meeting is being recorded. All of our meetings are shared to our website, our YouTube channel, and you can view the November meeting there. The link was emailed earlier today along with the meeting minutes from November. This is me being sloppy, so my apologies. All this says November, but we are talking about December. My brain is still in the past.
Casey, the screen sharing isn't working anymore. It just says loading.
Oh, okay. That's probably a connection problem. Hold on just a second. I'm going to stop the share and then let's try it again.
Yes. Oh, there's a baby over there.
What just happened? I didn't see it. Okay. Okay, let's try this again. So
Also, I just WhatsApped the parent about the meeting in case.
okay, can you guys see it now?
So
Yeah.
far, yes.
Yes.
Okay.
We just lost it again.
Oh, yeah.
It seems to be when I go to full screen. Let me see. I'm just gonna do it a different way, because it's hard for everyone to see in person if I have it that way. So I'm just going to do share screen, and I'm gonna share my whole desktop.
Yes. So should be one over.
I'm just going to.
I think we're not able to hear you.
Okay. Can you hear me now?
Now there we go.
Okay.
Yes.
So sorry about that. So if you have any questions for the PSA, please, or for this meeting, please put them in the chat. If you have a question that's not pertaining to the meeting, you can always email us at ps376.com. If you have questions that are for a specific, specifically pertaining to your child or a specific situation that's come up at school, please put that, please address those directly to the administration so that they can deal with them like in confidence. And their email addresses are here. Ms. Haig will be delivering the principal's report today, and she will be taking questions as time permits. So the meeting minutes, like I mentioned earlier, were emailed earlier today by Miss Haig, or I'm sorry, by Miss Amador. And if you have any questions or concerns, please let us know. And if not, then we will add them to our official records. Okay, so moving right along. The president's report. Picture Day, as everyone knows, was Wednesday, November 29th. Life Touch was here and they photographed all the students that were in attendance that day, unless the family opted out of taking photos. We will be receiving photo packages for everyone who bought in advance on Monday, the 18th, provided all goes smoothly with UPS. I have the tracking number on my phone and it's still saying Monday, so that's great. It is our absolute promise that we will get them out before break starts on Friday. So expect photos to be showing up in your child's backpack sometime next week. And we'll probably send out an email just so you can kind of be looking out in that backpack, because I know sometimes stuff gets crumpled if it's lingers too long. At least that's what happens to my son's backpack. A retake day will be scheduled in February. I know some people have reached out about what happens if they paid for pictures in advance, but they weren't, their child was sick or absent that day. They can take a photo on retake, but on the retake day, just please let us know and we'll make sure that they get on the list. Life Touch's retake policy is much more generous than AM Photos was last year. Basically, AM Photo said that if you wanted a retake, there had to be something that the photo company did wrong, like it was their fault that it wasn't a good picture. Life Touch's policy is if you think your kid's hair is messy or like they're making a weird face, you can get another shot at it. You just need to either return the proof sheet that you get back. So even if you didn't order, you can send back the proof sheet that's in your envelope and your child can have a retake photo. Or if you did buy photos in advance, you need to return all the photos that you received. So those are the only sort of restrictions or fine print agreement. But otherwise, if you want to retake, you can have one. We're also looking into doing sibling photos. If you want a sibling photo, and unfortunately the way their camera system, it was only 2 or 3. Two for sibling photos.
He was 3.
It's 3. So we have a question. Yes, Diane.
Okay, say first you got 3 kids. And how do y'all do it? 3 of them take it together? And say first the parent want to pay for the picture for separate and then one together free with the child?
So if the question is if you're interested in a sibling package, is that a separate cost? And yes, so basically it would be a separate, you pay for, so if you have 3 children, you would pay for 3 packages
And then
and then a 4th package of them together. And the sibling packages can only be paid for in person at the camera. Their online system, they're not really set up for sibling packages, but there was interest in it from last year. So we asked about it and they're like, well, we can work it out for you guys. So that has to be, the sibling package only, it has to be paid cash on the day of the photos. So the same as before with like the envelope and like you either write check or money order or cash in the envelope and give it to the photographer for the sibling photos.
so if
All
you pay
other-
for 3 kids, you got 3 kids, and you pay for each one of them separate, and then if you wanna put them together,
It's a 4th pack. It would be a 4th
right,
package.
they don't get that pack free?
They don't know. There's no discount. But with Life Touch, we've found that they offer a lot of different discount codes and online coupons. However, because the sibling package is really just sort of a favor to us, they wouldn't be offering those. And because they can only accept payment online, those coupons wouldn't be valid. So you could pay all of the single, your single child, like, so the photos that you've already it's Leah and Diamond, right? So Leah and Diamond, do you have a 3rd child here?
Huh?
You have a 3rd? Oh, Okay, so Leah and Diamond, say they already had their photos taken.
Right.
You, like the photos and then you can just pay for those online and they'll print the photos that you already have. You'll get a sample photo, next week of what they took. If you don't like that photo, we can do a retake day. And on that retake day, they can have a photo taken together, but the package would have to be paid at the time of the photo. Karen,
And going. Photo packages, do they have like, you know, how they do class picture, like, they have those?
they do.
So I'm trying to see what would be the difference because it's called sibling photo. Can't they swap out, like if they don't want the class picture and they want the sibling photo? I'm just playing devil advocate here. Because some kids might just want, you know, just the class picture, or like she said, she wants the sibling photo. Now, if I already paid for a package, there's nothing they can work out where, you understand, like swap out the class.
Like an
photo
add-on.
instead of,
to
right.
a-
The,
That's what
the
I'm trying-
sibling photo is considered a separate portrait sitting, so it's like, if you were, it's basically creating like a new person, you know, like you're not, you're having an individual sitting with the photographer. As
That's the
opposed to,
photographer way of putting it, because all sittings are a sitting. A photo.
well, with the class photo, it's like all 30 kids, and so all 30 kids would be taking that same photo. Right, so, but when you have a sibling photo, like they would be, like the
Okay, I see
two
what
siblings
you're
would be
saying.
coming
That's
together
part
and
of
sit
the
down.
human for him. Okay, I get it.
And not only that, they have to reset, and why this wasn't originally offered on picture day, is they have to reset all of their cameras to recognize, because, you know, with digital photography, it's identifying the subject and then the background. That's how you can insert all the different background options. They have to reset all their cameras to recognize, oh, there are now 3 heads in this picture and not just one.
No, I get it.
So that's what makes it more complicated, and that's why there's sort of these extra rules around it. Anyhow, so retake day in February will be coming soon, and thank you. We really appreciate all the support of the teachers, Yolande Fisher and Rosemary Osmond, as well as everyone on our executive board, Mary Louise, Yasmin and Yvette. That picture day got a little crazy because there were some technical difficulties with one of the cameras. LifeTouch stepped up and they sent like a whole extra person to work it out, and we got everyone photographed on one day. But if it weren't for a lot of patience, it wasn't gonna happen, but it
Photos
worked.
look great.
And they look great. Like if you purchased a package with a digital print, you may have already received your digital access code. And so the people who have been receiving those have had lots of good feedback, so.
I will say they were taking the time to make sure the hair was smoothed and all that stuff as much as possible.
Yeah.
I mean.
Winter Festival, this happened last night. It seemed like a pretty good turnout. Thank you for all of our volunteers. We had probably over 30 volunteers between decorations and people who donated food and people who worked the event. It was so wonderful. A really heartfelt thank you to the families who gave up their Saturday mornings to make decorations and organize crafts. Everyone who came to decorate, set up, and or clean up. Some of you guys put in really long days, and it is so immensely appreciated. Everyone who staffed to make a gift station, our photographer, Jason Falchuk, and his assistant, Kate. I love my family photo. My family is not the most photogenic bunch, as I may have suggested before, and it is so cute. It's like already on my kitchen counter. Thank you to all the teachers and staff who agreed to donate their time and talents to the teacher auction. If you bid on a teacher auction, we will be getting back to you either today or Monday, or sorry, not today, probably Monday, and reaching out about that you won. So stay tuned for that. And if you are curious about it, you can always email us at psa@ps376.com. Thank you to everyone who donated food. Thank you to Santa, and thank you to everyone who came out to participate. It was a really nice turnout. I think a lot of people came out for the show, but it seemed like a lot of people stayed for food and fun times in the cafeteria, so we really appreciate that. Where are we going? This is that same message in Spanish. I don't know if anybody wants. to run down it, but there it is. Uh, and then 50-50 raffle. Can you grab the box real quick?
It's still in the same place.
Yeah, so last night, as one of our sort of fundraising streams, we had a 50-50 raffle, which is where you buy, participants could buy a $2 raffle ticket. $1 goes to the PSA, $1 goes into the pot, and whoever the lucky winner is, they win the pot. So we kind of ran out of time last night. The end of the show was sort of a frenzy. So we are going to be doing a live drawing right here tonight.
Can you see it?
The longer
It's like,
Oh,
it's
wait.
blurred. It's
Oh.
blurred.
Take my blur off, Mary Louise.
I always forget how to do that.
No.
Wait, here, look, it just came into focus. Well,
Yeah, I'll hold it and then Mary, I'll switch over. So Mary
Bright
Louise,
Waterhouse has had this,
we've had this under lock and key, so there's been no
it
tampering
has been
whatsoever.
under, I put it in last night and I just took it back out myself, so.
Oops,
And I think, what did I tell you last night, 92 or
Right.
82?
I think it was 92.
92 tickets, so whoever's name comes out of here, is getting $92. Let's let somebody from the audience.
Oh, yeah,
draw it.
any. Karen, you wanna come up here
Who
and
wants
be
to
the draw? You'll be like our,
Dang, I wish this would stop. Okay, okay.
Okay.
Karen is drawing.
Turn my head. Please don't.
She wasn't here last
Okay.
night, so she
yeah,
couldn't
she's
win
an
it.
impartial part.
I was there, but I. didn't
Um,
testify.
No, I was at
Olivia
the-
M.
Olivia M from K-12.
Oh.
So Olivia M, K-12 mom, new to our school.
I'm gonna take a pic.
She is the big winner and with the 50-50 raffle, we think that this is a fun, easy way to like make some money and have a good time. So we will be doing these going forward at our events. If everyone agrees to, that's part of our proposal tonight. So we'll vote on that later. Can you check the do you know who the parent who made the taquitos? That was our very own Yvette, right? Yeah, Yvette here, our secretary made the taquitos.
They were delicious.
Delicious. Oh, can you keep it?
Yeah.
They're better.
What do you want me?
What? Somebody else brought more?
Oh.
Oh, we had more than one. Okay.
Oh, okay.
So we want a rematch, a taste test. and then
A taquito off?
Can you keep an eye on the chat? Okay.
Taquito bake-off.
So this is something sort of unusual. I mean, not unusual. I think it's great. The first grade actually reached out to us and they wanted to share this survey with the parents. So they're working on a project about murals and they want everyone to scan this QR code and take this small survey about sort of how different spaces make you feel. So if you were to pop open this QR code, and unfortunately I can't do it here because I'm on my computer, but if you
Want me to do it?
you can, well, you guys can do it here and then you'll see the survey.
Okay.
But it's not gonna share it to the
Oh,
group. But the survey is just a quick 3-question. They want to get your feelings on what different spaces, how they make you feel. So if the first grade would appreciate it if you took the time to complete the survey, just scan the QR code now. And thank you. We also had a special request from class 302. This is for their PBL project. They asked that I share these 2 short videos with the parents at home. So I will.
Recording in progress.
Oh, sorry. There we go.
This is why we are making this video. We have noticed that some of the kids in our class haven't been reading enough. And sometimes even in the library. You know, in the library. You go to the library.
Thank
You
you.
may not know
Don't come
where
on
to
this
go.
side.
At the library. Here she will help you find your book.
Is that better?
We bring our children to the library and we can reward them and
Is it playing through the?
Okay, well. We can share the,
Yeah.
YouTube link if anyone wants to watch it at home.
Yeah.
Let's put it, we can put it in chat.
Yep. PBL is a project-based learning. And so all the school, that's part of the curriculum where they try to have like a real world problem and then come up with a solution. So my son is also in 3rd grade, and so he's in a different class, but they are doing sort of like library awareness, and like I guess there's like library budget cuts and stuff, and so they're trying to get the word out about how important libraries are. So on to the SLT report. There's like an echo. Do you guys hear
It's my
that?
phone,
Oh.
because I can't, it won't turn all the way off.
Okay, sorry,
Sorry.
I'm going the wrong way.
Either-
So the SLT report, the SLT met earlier this month, and there's actually been 2 SLT meetings since the last time we had our PSA meeting. Both meetings covered the CEC plan, which is sort of the curriculum education plan. I don't specifically remember what the acronym stands for, but it's basically like the different areas that the school bases the school is judged by. So basically the state standards, where they are, how they can improve, and like their plan mapping that forward. So that's being presented now, and it's quite lengthy. And I think once it's finalized, it will be available for public consumption. But Ms. Haig just entered. CEC stands for what?
Community
Education.
Education Council.
Education Council. And so that's who sets the standards for the CEC plans. I'm doing my SLT report.
That's who sets the CEC? Yeah,
Is that,
and they're an entity by themselves, I guess, as well. Like next week we'll have a meeting here, CEC meeting here on the.
it's like the 21st, right?
21st,
Something.
it's something every day next week, every day. Yeah, they vote on certain things and, been a long week.
I hear that. So that's basically what this SLT has been up to for the past 2 meetings. Now it's time for Mary Louise to present the treasurer's report.
Hello, everybody. So we spent some money this month. Round of applause. But we made some money this month too, so very exciting. Here's just a rundown. I'm not going to read through everything, but of what we spent, most of what we spent was in relation to the Winter Festival that happened last night. So we bought lots of art supplies to make the ornaments and things that the children made, and some food stuff, and there was a few different things. And then of course we sold tickets to do those activities and to get photos taken. So we don't know exactly how much we made last night, but in petty cash, our petty cash has increased by $1,080. So that came in last night.
Wow.
Now, of course, we have to deduct all the
Yeah,
supplies
all
we
the
bought,
supplies.
but
Yeah,
yeah. And actually you'll see here, there's some credits that we figured out how to use Zelle for people to buy things from us digitally. And then we also have always been able to use PayPal. So I have a few PayPal payments that I was not able to look at today. So I'll report those next week. But I think that it was around, just looking at a quick tally, and it was around like $80 or so. So there'll be an $80 addition to this
And
when I do the
this
final.
includes the photo printer, right?
Mhm.
And so.
That's the $256 charge was the printer. And we're gonna be sending back some, which I need to look at, by the way. We might be returning some things, so we'll report on the full report next month with the fundraiser report.
But just so they know that the photo printer is like sort of a capital expense that we will be using for.
Oh,
other
yes.
events, not just.
Yeah, so the point Casey was making is, so we spent around $200 on a printer and ink and stuff for, to print photos. So we had a photo booth, and so you could get a print. And that's something that we can continue to use. So it's not something that like is only an expense that was from this one event. It's something that we'll use going forward. It was like 100.
Something.
Well,
It's
it's
in that
included in that 250. I can't remember exactly off the top of my head, but you have to buy the ink and the paper separately. So that's like, it was probably around 150 with the paper and the ink.
But it's also for how many photos?
You get like 100 photos out of it.
I thought it was,
Approximately.
I thought one pack was like 100 photos.
One pack is 108 photos, and I think it was, I just don't remember. I can't give you firm, I'm not sure. And I just remember that another pack for 108 photos was around $50. So it's still like 50 cents a photo. And we made $5 on each
And the
photo.
photos were $5 where you got, so it was a professional photographer, Jason Fauchuk. He took family photos and then you got, if you purchased a photo, you got a 4x6 photo in a matte frame that the kids could decorate.
But with Jason, didn't he come separate with? I'm trying to follow.
He was a volunteer.
Okay.
You mean
he's
the
a
cost of him?
volunteer, But did he come with his own supplies?
He came with his own lighting.
Camera.
And camera and lighting
So
supplies.
you supplied the printing, is
We
what you're
supplied the
saying?
printing.
So that's where you made the decision to get the printer.
Right.
Mhm.
That keeps, okay, all right. Yeah, we need a full report. This way you can see what you brought in, what you put out and what you brought in.
When I do the fundraiser report, you'll get that. It happened last night, so I haven't had time to tally it all up, but
And with all-
In our defense,
in
we
our
were balls
defense.
to the walls all day, all night.
it was just
So
like.
having a
it
full
was
report tonight is not acceptable.
Right.
too long.
Yeah, I don't understand what she said.
She was just saying that like the event, like it's been so time consuming, like leading up to it, and then it was the last night, and then the room was a total disaster, and so we bought craft supplies that will probably be returned. Like there's a lot of dust that has to settle before we can do the actual
full
full
report.
report.
So like I'm returning some of the photo paper that was sent. It was the wrong size. So I'm gonna send that back. There's there's some supplies that were bought that will probably be sent back. There were also some supplies that were purchased that have not been accounted for. So we gotta find out all that stuff. And then we'll do the fundraiser report. Okay. So just to give an overview, our bank balance is now $5,936.96. We have $1,424.45 in petty cash, which will be deposited in the bank first of next week. Actually, possibly tomorrow. We'll see if I can get over here and do it. That will not be sitting around very long. We still have $523.76 in our open collective account, for a subtotal of $7,885.17. But remember, we still owe $1,326.95 to people for graduation pictures whom we cannot find. But please let us know if you hear of anyone who had a fifth grader in, what year was that now? 2019, 2020?
I think so.
2019. Because we would gladly give them their money back. In a couple of years, we'll absorb that money if it's not.
Have you ever come forward to access?
No, we contacted as many people.
These are the kids.
You remember,
When we
Angie,
went
yeah,
into-
so she reached out to a bunch of people at
Yeah.
that time and like,
It came out.
a few did.
A
but-
bunch did, but
yeah.
Some did. I think we went into COVID and this
Yeah.
all got, we went. into
they didn't get the
COVID.
photos taken.
Remember, we shut down like in March, and I think that we would do to have the photos taken like the next week.
Yeah.
So,
Mhm.
some parents came and some, I mean, these kids are gonna be going to high school.
I know. The kids are gonna be coming back like,
They're
hey,
gonna be their
I
own
need
kids,
that
yeah.
money
Some
back.
came, but they didn't, I mean, some came forward and some didn't.
Yeah,
I guess.
And they
to me, I
tried-
feel like it's not, they, to me.
They left
I guess
it.
they don't, it's not important to them because they would have.
It's unclaimed funds at
They
this
would've
point.
came
yeah, I
back
think there's a
to-
time
There-
period.
there's-
There's a time
money
period.
back.
Yeah,
That's right.
it's
It
six,
came back
it-
to them.
yeah.
They get their money back on
Yeah.
that.
There's a statute of
You know what I'm
limitations
saying?
of 6 years.
Yeah, we have to follow
We
the
gotta
rule.
wait out the 6 years.
No,
Yeah.
I know what
You'll
you're saying,
still
but
be here, lady.
I mean, like, you know.
We have to
I
wait
mean,
till they
I-
graduate high
and-
school.
And I know
until-
if I didn't get my.
Yeah,
fill
wait,
money,
not me
I'm
either.
on time.
Oh.
5 years. You know,
Agreed.
that's what I'm saying.
Absolutely.
Okay.
Even if my child went to high school, whatever,
Sorry.
You also gotta take into
so
consideration.
I already paid for it. You know
Some
what
of
I'm
these
saying?
people
But
not
Diane-
even be living here anymore.
Right.
Yeah,
you gotta
so
take
yeah,
into
that's another
Yeah, a lot of
thing,
people
too.
relocated
They
after.
did, they
Mhm.
did. I know.
That's what I was getting ready to say.
Yeah.
Remember,
Tax
who
thing.
was
Yeah.
that we were looking
Nobody's
for?
thinking about that.
No,
Parents have
Yeah,
a lot of
I don't
problems,
know.
yeah.
Remember?
Okay,
yeah,
And we just going through the pictures.
sorry, just a minute. We got some discussion in the room.
Yeah.
Okay.
Okay.
We're really trying to, especially since this is English only, we're
Yep.
trying to keep this under an hour.
Yeah.
Okay, so because of that, the total available balance we can spend is $6,558.22. Now, I have some things to discuss. So the board sat down and we discussed like some different things that we could do this year. We also, we sent out a survey at the beginning of the year asking what people wanted the most. One of the things that they wanted was musical programming. So we kept that in there as something that we can provide this year. We also always do our end of year celebration, which is the big carnival we do at the end of the year. That's a large expense. And then we also do something for kindergarten and fifth grade, kindergarten stepping up and fifth grade graduation. So we've kind of allocated some funds toward that. And based on, I was the treasurer last year, so I kind of know how much everything cost. So we kind of we based on what we're going to do this year, basically on what we did last year. And I'm going to come back to this page in a second, but I just wanted to show just so people understand fully where the money goes. And, we look like we have $6,000 sitting in our bank account, but really we have to save the majority of it for the end of the year because all of that stuff costs a lot of money. So this is what we spent last year. We spent a total of $7,241. So we don't have that yet. Now we haven't gotten in our check for our picture day and everything. So I think we'll eventually get there. I'm not worried at all, but right now that's why we're in kind of saving mode. There were various costs related to various events. But the biggest ones were it says Family Fun Day. That's the end of year carnival, which was around $2,500. Then there was the kindergarten and fifth grade celebrations, which was about $1,000. And then we also did a school assembly with Little Mozart, which is an orchestra, and that was part of our musical programming promise, and that was $1,500, which, by the way, they wanted $2,000 and I negotiated. Okay, so
And that was something that every kid in the school got to see.
yeah, every child got to experience it, and that was really our goal, was to do something that like everyone could benefit from. So there at the end of the year, we spent $5,000. So I just want everyone to understand that that's why there's money being
And
saved right now.
also, sorry, with the
Mhm.
Family Fun Day, that we didn't charge for any concessions, and that had bouncy houses, that had live entertainment, it was
Yep.
a lot of stuff. So all of the cotton candy, the snow cones, the water, all of that was free of charge.
Right. The Family Fun Day end of year carnival was totally free for everything.
Excuse me, the cotton candy, the snow cone was free of charge. Wasn't that supplied when you got the bouncy house? There was no package deal?
It was a package deal, but I mean, we paid for the package.
Right, so that came with the bouncy house. So.
But we
That's in the
paid for
Family
it.
Fun Day money.
Okay, so I'm trying to follow. When you say that you didn't charge for it.
We didn't charge other people for
We
it.
didn't charge the people who attended.
Right.
So at other events, in the, for movie night, let's say, last year we had pizza, it was like a couple dollars for a slice of pizza and a drink, like it was a meal deal. Whereas for that event, unlike the other events, we did not recoup any of the expenses.
The money came
So-
out of the PSA budget.
Cause it was family funding.
Right.
Okay.
But that's part of why that expense is so high. Because it's.
Were you
the way
looking to make
Tara works.
money for family funding?
No, not
No.
at all.
Oh, okay.
That's the point of Family Fun Day, is that
Right.
it's like a big celebration for the end of the year, but that number, when you look at it, is quite. Like, easily twice.
That's like half
Everything
what
else
we
on
have
there.
right now. So
You go on your own bouncy.
gotta have somewhere to store it.
If that,
We're gonna buy
We've
we've-
talked
the
about.
cotton candy machine. I think we gotta buy, because that one we had was not very.
right, and bouncy, because kids like the bouncy.
Okay, yeah.
So what I'm trying to say is your budget, that number
Well,
would not be that high.
but so there's the capital expense of buying the bouncy and the bouncies that you can buy versus the bouncies that they provided, like.
They're
it's-
huge.
I mean, they're
And we got two of
huge,
them.
and there
I
were
have
two
a
of them,
I get it.
and we would,
About the commercial. bouncy.
yeah.
I get it. Okay. I'm just gonna be quiet and just follow this because this is kind of hard to follow because all I keep hearing every time I come to the meeting is you have to keep in mind this and this is not a full report. So why are we doing this?
No, this
Well,
is a full report. This is what we
This
spent
one is
last
the full
year.
Report. Let's
Yes.
back it up. The other report you said was not completed because you have to keep in mind. So why are we doing this?
Because
Because we're
it-
required to do this, we're required
And
to report
keep
financials.
saying, and keep
We're
saying that
required-
it's not a full
It's a
report.
work in progress, like the event for last night just happened last night.
Then you shouldn't have the meeting today. if
The meeting is
meeting
part of
was
the
last night.
bylaws.
We have to
And
meet
that-
on certain days.
The meeting happens at the same day every month.
All right, I need to see these bylaws.
Okay,
Okay.
there, I can email you a copy or there's a
Yes.
copy on the file in the cabinet.
Thank you.
Okay, so, so based on that, based on what we did last year, we're kind of we're planning our events based around those things and also what parents said that they would like from the survey. So here, we took membership dues and initially we kind of gave a blanket, like general expenses and supplies, and that was for $1,000. We made $2,384 in your generous donations. So we were allocating some other things like the game night supplies, the dance night supplies for that. And you can see that listed here. And these are just estimations of what we might spend. Hopefully we don't go over that, but this is just a basic breakdown. And then for Fall Picture Day, we allocated the money to the end of year celebration, AKA Family Fun Day. So I have $2,500 here because that's about what we spent last year. Winter Festival was raising money for musical programming. I don't really have a fund goal because we didn't really quite know where we would land. But as you saw, just to have that one assembly was $1,500. So between the two things that we have allocated for music programming, we need to make about $1,500. So
And the winter festival was to replace the holiday sale that we did last
Yes.
year, and being that it was a completely different event, we weren't really sure how much it would generate. Last year with the school sale where everyone could bring their money and like buy little gifts, we made $1,000 on that.
mhm.
It's looking like this will be a little less.
Yeah, this is looking like maybe around 700, but not bad. I mean, that was a lot of work for us last year. And
This was a lot of work by a
was
lot of
a-
people, like we probably had 30 volunteers between
Yeah.
everyone who volunteered, like brought a dish and decorated and all those things.
Mhm.
But I think most importantly, everyone who came out seemed to really have a good time with their families.
Yeah,
So
it
I
was-
thought that was a win personally.
it
but-
was also achieving the goal of community, which is something that we hadn't really been able to do in the last couple of years because everyone was still afraid of COVID and all that stuff. So this was really, that was really one of our goals beyond just making money. But it's nice to make the money too, so we can do the musical programming. And then we had spoken about this, I think it was the last meeting, the NYCFC soccer game. So that's going to be a thing where we sell tickets and we make a portion of the tickets. So any money that we make from that will also go toward the musical program. Then we have graduation picture day, which is also the sibling picture day in February. So we're going to allocate that money toward the kindergarten and fifth grade graduation to cover what we did last year. It has to be around $1,100. We'll see. We might end up having to like move some money around to make that happen, but we'll see what happens. And then we have concessions. This is something that's will be an ongoing thing in future events, just like we did last year where we have like chips and pizza or whatever. And this is an ongoing fundraiser that, you know, we don't really find out how much we make till the end of the year because we buy a bunch of stuff and we just kind of have it for every event. And so, you know, we've allocated that toward general PSA expenses because, you know, by the end of the year, we don't have time to spend it on anything, but it's great for the next year's board to use at the beginning of the year. And then for our 50-50 raffles, which we made $92 this time, which there was each ticket was $2 a piece. So we got $1 and whoever won got $1. So we made $92 off that already. So that's going to go toward our teacher appreciation brunch we do in May. And then we have discussed doing like a laser bounce night where it's the same thing where we get a commission off of everybody who goes, and we'll have a PS376 night when everybody goes. One thing I left off on here that we talked about was teacher wish lists. I don't know why it's not on this. We had allocated $1,000 for teacher wish lists, which where was that money coming from? Or did I put it up here? Oh, never mind. Sorry, I didn't forget. It's at the top. Oh my gosh. Sorry, I'm messing everything up. Okay. At the very top, the membership dues. So we're going to allocate some of that money that we made for membership dues to the teacher wish lists. Because I think last year we spent, do I have it on here? We spent $647, almost $648 last year on teacher wish list. But we know that there are more teachers out there that need things. And, you know, we want to be able to provide whatever we can. And we're hoping we can get a survey out to the teachers maybe in January so that we can get that moving. Because I know that was another complaint that we did it too late last year. So
I see that chat number creeping up. You want to pop that open real quick?
oh, you could look on my phone. I'm logged in. Here, here I can do it.
Is the musical program also the theater program? And then Tiffany answered,
I see. Okay, well, we are opening the floor up for some discussion. Sorry, I'm just reading through. It was 2020 when the pandemic, what year?
Hi, it probably would have been ideal to have went through the chat as you guys were going through each agenda, so that way you can open it up for like a 5-minute, 2-minute for those who have comments, and then move on to the next agenda versus now you're going to go through the whole chat where we have some old questions, some old comments, and you guys are on a new agenda now.
We're not on a new agenda. We're just now opening up the floor to discussion. I mean, just people that are here, it's a little bit hard, but we're opening up the floor to discussion about the proposed events and fundraisers right now. So, the question is the musical program also the theater program? No, the musical programming, honestly, and I see Tiffany said they want a music program. The goal, the biggest goal would be, yes, to have like a music teacher and to have music for all the kids. But that's something that has to be like managed by the school. And I know that you can only have so many spots or something. And we have theater instead of music basically, and we have dance that checks the music box. So that's why we don't have like general music theory sort of instruction here. There are a number of things we've looked at. We've looked at doing workshops. We've looked at Save the Music and stuff like that, where they'll donate instruments to schools. The only thing with that is there has to be an accredited teacher, a licensed music teacher who can be in the school to teach that if they give you all of those resources. So that's an issue because apparently there's a shortage, from what I've heard. It's also still very expensive. We have never raised enough money to bring like a full music program to the school. So, you know, the best that we've been able to do is do something like providing a one assembly. And yeah, it's expensive, but you know, it's the thing that all the kids get to participate in. And it comes out to be, let's see, $1,500 divided by 500 kids. Is that $3? It's $3 a child, basically, to experience something in the musical realm.
You have a question?
And it's good because many kids need to learning the instruments, the
Mhm.
instruments. So, but they need a special teacher,
Mm-hmm,
but it's really necessary.
mm-hmm.
To work with this. Well, because many kids has your school have teacher music, the
Yeah.
musician teach me how to play guitar, no,
No,
so.
so.
the-
Yeah.
Oh,
Sure, Miss Haig is gonna, so what was just said here in the room was that, you know, it's really important for kids to have music instruction, and a lot of schools do have music instruction, but our school doesn't. And, you know, you do have to have a specialized teacher to do that, but ours doesn't have that. So
So-
Miss Haig wanted to respond.
This summer when we were doing, holding, like looking for teachers. We were open that way. And we had nobody. We are in a teacher kind of shortage, but what came was, first of all, I mean, we found Mr. Pruitt kind of by luck, accident, I don't know. He was in our district to begin with at another school, but wanted to leave there. And in the interview process, he told, you know, like he was like that he wanted to do more like musical theater. So we were like, okay, well, at least we're going along that path. Right now we have dance teacher, we have the art, and then we have him. Nobody came that played instruments. It was like really like small amounts. And then, cause we would love that, like, to have that.
Did y'all
We-
reach out to see if anybody?
To any, like, we reached out like to Central, we reached out like to, Miss Chavaria was our like contact, that did all of like the teacher fairs and we've reached out to even, like certain colleges because Miss O'Clair, everybody knows Miss O'Clair. She also works at Hunter College and reached out that way as well. Mr. Boris is a substitute. He is not so when we did have him here, he was paid day to day. Which it can't be.
Sorry, this thing is jumping around. Okay, there we go.
She could talk.
Okay,
Do you want to unmute yourself, Tiffany? Did you hear what Ms. Haig's response about Mr. Boris?
Yes, I did. I have a couple of questions, which I'm sure you guys have seen in the chat, but my main thing is, why don't we allocate more money for the teachers' wish list?
We can absolutely allocate more money for the teacher wish list. Last year, we were just talking about numbers last year. Last year is what our constituency voted on for $1,000. We can definitely make a motion to, I mean, we could make a motion to.
For that, we should definitely, I mean, for something like that, if all the parents, let's say, for example, for the musical theater program, like the musical theater teacher himself said they need a lot of stuff. And I saw that for myself firsthand. They need supplies. The art teacher needs more supplies to do the set designs and stuff like that. They need mics that actually work, that they don't have to constantly fix. They need speakers that don't have static if you raise it at a certain volume level. They need mics that the students can actually, like lapel mics that they could put on themselves. You know what I mean? And the dance teacher says she needs changing pods. She needs a whole bunch of other things. And I'm sure many teachers need many things, but this was something that was brought to my attention. And I definitely feel, the PSA is Parent Staff Association. We all pay dues. There's a lot of fundraising going on. And I feel like the teachers definitely need more than we're giving them.
So just so you, what was actually allocated for teacher wish list last year was $500. And we sent out a survey to all the teachers to see what they needed. And we bought everything, almost everything that every teacher wanted. And we ended up spending actually 670 or something like that. So we actually spent over what we initially had allocated. This year we were allocating more. Now, if we see that the need is more, then I think that we can totally discuss that, but we also have to break up like with the plan of spending about the same amount for if we want to do the same things we did last year. If we don't want to do the musical assembly, then we could take that $1,500 and potentially give it to the other teachers. The only thing is like we can't necessarily give all the money to theater, all the
I'm not
money
saying
to
give all the
dance.
money to theater, but my whole
We
thing
have
is
to
it's a
also
new,
spread it out to other
right.
teachers.
It's a new program, right? And in general, it's obvious that the school, was lacking those things to be fixed because we haven't had a musical theater program in a while, or haven't had, things where that's needed or necessary or whatever, someone in charge of that.
No,
And
that's not what
I had,
happened, Tiffany.
well,
We
I had
have
spoken to
gotten-
Miss. Right. I'm sorry. I just want to finish so that you guys can say what you got to say. Miss Rodriguez spoke to me personally, and she said, in general, she wants to ask you guys for more help and stuff like that. And she wants to know how to go about it. Because sometimes, the teacher's wish list, like you had said earlier, is not done in time, and it's done too late. And there's things that are needed now, and there's things that are needed. You know what I mean? Like that's my whole thing. Like, I know that if you guys sent out a flyer and I spoke, because there's a WhatsApp chat for musical theater and stuff like that. Like if the parents know, or if the parents are made more aware of what's being voted on in the meetings, I'm sure they would come to actually vote for the things instead of, a few people voting here and there. Because unfortunately, parents don't understand or don't know, look, this is what is being voted on. And that's why things are going the way it's going. So if there's more specific things, maybe on the flyers,
That's
or
exactly where we need you to step up and advocate, because we're sending out the notices. We're trying to get the word out as we can, but we're all members of the PSA. And so if you are plugged into an active group of parents who want to
well,
get
that's what I'm
something
saying.
out of
Like for the next meeting, if you're gonna vote on like the budget for certain things, if you put that on the flyer, I would definitely share the flyer and what I'm saying. But what I'm saying is for everybody to know exactly what is being voted on in each meeting. And then we would get a better turnout, whether it's in person or on Zoom.
So on every flyer, it has our proposed agenda. And so on today's agenda, it said 2024 events. So that's just events, not necessarily like funding allocations for like target. But it's what we're planning for all of the school year from January to June. And this is how many people turned out. So we need help from everyone on this call to reach out to their WhatsApp groups, tell their friends, tell their kids, friends, moms. This is what's happening. We need more voices. Like if you have an opinion, this is the place to express it. And we're glad you're here. We're glad that you're bringing this up. Like this is what we want. This is the feedback. This is the engagement. But everybody has to participate in the process if you want to see the change that you're passionate about. So the thing
is it possible though I feel like there's maybe also some staff communication with the PSA, because for example, for the Winter Festival last night, I feel like, the kids that were actually in the show should have like had maybe an hour to go to the Winter Festival and, before the public even came to actually enjoy it and participate, because they only really saw things at the end. You know what I mean? And I, from what I understand, because I know another parent had spoken to you guys about it, that it wasn't planned because you guys didn't know that was going to happen on the same day. But maybe if everybody's on the same page.
That it was a collaborative event, and that the reason the event started at 4:30 was because that was the absolute earliest between after school, like dismissal, and like get us actually setting up the event. We only had 2 hours to do a lot of setup. We made it happen so we could open the doors at 4:30. That was the absolute earliest we could do
And
it.
that was how long before the show started?
Yeah, so I'm sorry if the performers didn't get a chance to go through it, but it was at like an hour and a half before curtain.
Yeah.
Yeah, I think that was a loss for the kids that were actually in the show because they didn't get to enjoy it and they really wanted to be down there, to be honest with you, because it wasn't just my son, it was multiple kids that thought that was what was going to happen, and it wasn't the case.
Well, why didn't they get to come down at
Because
4:30?
they were told to stay upstairs.
That
They were
wasn't our
told to
doing.
stay upstairs with their costumes already changed and everything.
So this
So
event was planned in collaboration with Ms. Velasquez, and Mr. Pruitt was also involved in the discussions, and like, you know, nobody has a time machine, so we can't really do anything to fix it now. But those are not decisions that we made. They were definitely aware of like the time frame, and like we were not aware that those kids would not be permitted downstairs. We bought a lot of craft supplies thinking that they would be. So this, like what you're telling us right now is new information.
This would be something I would share with Mr. Pruitt, you know, because I think that direction was probably given by him, not by us. So, but we did want them to participate for sure. And, you know, like that's also another reason we had the food and everything, because we were
so
thinking.
it was
like,
done on
hey,
purpose to have the winter festival and the show together, because I was told the opposite.
No, that was the,
That was always
that was
the
how it was
plan.
planned.
That
Yeah.
was always the plan.
We
for
were
it to be
asked to-
school-wide.
We were asked to do it in conjunction.
I mean, it would have worked if, like I said, if they had at least 30 minutes to just, you know,
Okay.
participate. That's all I'm saying.
I appreciate the feedback, and again, like, we don't have a time machine, but we can definitely consider that, take that into consideration going forward. Because it is
Okay.
now 7:05,
Okay.
I think, are there any other questions? I see the thing about the bouncy house. That's amazing. If anybody has like a contact, I saw the name in the chat.
That was me. That was me. My name is Yudelka.
Yudelka.
So here's is Yudelka. So as I stated in the chat, if a PSA representative walks over to Marita Davila's office, she will be more than willing to donate a bouncy house, because she is more than willing to donate as much as the office is able to provide to any functions within Bushwick. Now,
Do you
if
have her
they-
as a contact? Are you friends with her or
Excuse me,
something?
can you allow, one moment, please? Just allow me to finish my statement. In addition to that, there's council members that can be reached out to, as well as other small businesses within Bushwick. There's a lot of donations that can be received. It just takes outreach. It takes, that's what it takes. So in regards to contact, you just got to walk over and let her know, hey, I'm PSA, we would love for the office to donate a bouncy house to, you know, to extend their gratitude by providing a bouncy house. So that way we can lessen our expenses for the year. It wouldn't be.
Oh, I'm sorry. So we have a committee that meets every month called the fundraising committee. And that's where we talk about how we can, you know, get donations and stuff from people in the community. And that's really where we're trying to rally people to help us with that. You know, Casey, Yvette, and Yasmin and I are not the only people in the PSA. Every parent at PS 376 is in the PSA. So if you have that contact, we would be super grateful for you to help make that connection. And
I don't have that contact, as I stated. What
okay. Okay. Well, if you know how to do it though, I mean, we would be grateful for any help that we can get, you know, because we don't always, we can't do everything, but we are definitely looking into community outreach and looking into donations from other businesses, which is why we also have that open collective account where businesses can make tax deductible donations. So yeah, but you know,
There's
if you
other forms
want to
of
help with that, we would
donations.
love to have your help.
I mean, I'm all about solution focus, and that's something that we can discuss separately in person. I can, you know, give in my tad bits and help out with that. That's not an issue. But in regards to donation, I think that a lot of the expenses can be lessened by donations. For example, there are parents that are unable to, pay the dues, but they are able to donate, whether it's food towards the concessions or food towards any event, and that can, be used towards their membership fee. I'm just saying, you just kind of got to meet people where they're at. And I'm just thinking more so as a parent, not everybody is capable of, providing monetary donations. In addition to businesses, they may not be able to donate money, but they can donate a pan of food. They can donate supplies, this, that, and the fourth. So again, there are solutions.
Yeah, we welcome any donations, and we had some wonderful 30 volunteers here last night, people who made giant platters of food, which we were super grateful for. So anything, any time anyone can give like that, we're just as grateful for that as we are for monetary donations. That's for sure.
Also, just for clarification, and I know this has been said before, but all the dues are optional. Like there's a $5 suggested donation, but your membership in the PSA is not contingent on your ability to pay dues. Everyone is, if you have a child at the school, you are a member of the PSA. And so
Understood. I mean, I paid a certain amount of dues because again, my children have attended the school. One of my children attend the school as of right now. He's the last one. So again, I have no problem with that. But again, we have to take into consideration that with the demographic, not everybody is able to provide $5, right? So there are alternatives that can be explored. That's all I'm saying.
And
I'm
we
not-
don't require the $5 either. We
I'm
consider
not
every
saying
parent
that. I'm not
Okay.
saying that, but what I'm saying is that maybe if there was some form of outreach done to parents where, hey, although we are suggesting a $5, donation, if you are unable to provide the $5 donation, we are more than happy to accept any other forms of donation, examples, boxes
So
of
I think
potato chips.
what you're saying is, this is Miss Haig.
I'm sorry, who's talking? I'm sorry.
Miss Haig.
Okay, hi.
Hi, I think what you're saying is like making other parents like aware that monetary is not the only way that they can donate. Making them aware
I
of that.
mean, right, that's more so of a recap of what I said, yeah.
And yes, so that's an excellent point, and that is definitely something like Mary Louise said, that is how we, this event was approached, and that's how we ended up getting such a tremendous parent involvement, because so many people, when they saw the call for food, so many people stepped up and brought in food, which was like a way for them to contribute without necessarily making cash donations.
Or their time also. They
There was a
sat
lot
at
of
the
people-
booths and, we definitely are trying to get, volunteers in that way and to involve the community as much as possible. I think,
Definitely.
it asked how else can you help? Oh, Tiffany said it asks how else can you help on the form?
No, on the form that we send out, for the parents to donate, remember on that same form, it says if you can't donate, you can donate your time or it has other checkoff boxes. I
Mhm.
remember that.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
Yeah. So that is an option, but maybe send it out again. That's what I would say. Not necessarily to ask for donations, but send out the
Yeah.
form again.
I mean, we try to get people, now we're like focused on events. So it's like, it will go event by event, like with like volunteer signups and stuff like that. But yeah, if you can spread the word, like we can use all the help we can get here. So we welcome any volunteers.
Okay, so this conversation is going to continue into the new business section where we're talking about the events that we did. And maybe this will have to be something that we table for our next meeting, and then, but what was on the agenda for tonight was just sort of like a rundown of what we have discussed in the past, based again on the survey results, what we did last year, and what might be of interest this year. I want to minimize that. Okay, so proposed 2024 events. We talked about doing a January movie night. Last year we did a December movie night, but we felt with the winter festival and just like the way the holiday falls and everything, it would be a tight squeeze. So January movie night, plus it's kind of like nice to have a fun thing to get out of the house for with the kids when it's cold. A February dance. Last year we did the All You Need Is Love dance, where the kids actually voted. They had, I think, 4 or 5 themes to vote on, and that's what they chose. Then March, the Cocoa and Canvas art event where family or parent and child can make an art project with Miss Velasquez leading the way. The past, I think it's 3 years now, that's been a virtual event. Ms. Velasquez expressed an interest in that being a hybrid event this year. So that's kind of TBD. All of these are just proposed so that we can go to the administration and get some dates on the calendar. This is really about scheduling right now, this conversation. May Teacher Appreciation Brunch. So back in those numbers that Mary Louise shared, we put together a very nice, it was actually for the staff. It was a nice brunch that they had. And by brunch, it was a teacher brunch. So it was served at like 8 a.m. But they all came, really enjoyed it. And so we would like to do that. And last year we did a little bit of a kid art project for the kids to say thank you. It'd be nice if we could like dial that up this year. But so that would be what we'd have on deck for May. And then June, of course, we have the end of year carnival in addition to our graduation and stepping up celebrations, which those take place during the school day for the kids. But the June end of year carnival is like a Saturday celebration for everyone, families included. The events with an asterisk, they, the January movie night, the February dance, and the April game night, those events would have concessions for sale and a 50-50 raffle as an income stream for the PSA. Thoughts, comments, suggestions?
I just remembered something I wanted to say about the theater stuff. I do wonder whether we can approach some arts organizations about donating to that cause specifically, where they might sponsor our theater, sponsor a reinvigoration of our theater. That is something that we can definitely look at and we can potentially talk about. I know, sorry to get back to that.
Yeah,
but
I think what
in
we
the
should do with this
fundraising committee. Yeah.
theater thing is I think we should invite Mr. Pruitt to the fundraising committee and hear from him what he could be looking for. Like if that's where the need is, it's a new program, like we're all in favor of supporting it. We need to know what the need is. I know that he had a popcorn sale where he's sort of trying to form his own booster club, which is great. Like if he
He was
you know,
trying to
nobody
attend
is
the
bad
meeting,
money.
but he couldn't.
I'm sorry?
Mr. Pruitt was trying to get into the meeting from the beginning and he couldn't because I had sent him the link. He already knew about it.
I didn't see him show up in the waiting room.
Yeah, he said he tried multiple times and it didn't let him in. So I don't know.
He also should, I mean, connect with us directly, by the way. I mean, Casey's here like all the time.
Yeah, I did.
Sure.
I saw him multiple times yesterday. Okay.
We'll connect
Anyhow,
with him.
I will connect with him and I will invite him personally to the fundraising committee meeting, which is Tuesday. This coming Tuesday. So does anybody have any, like, how do we feel about this general proposed calendar?
I would not be opposed to eliminating 1 or 2. It's a lot of work. Coming from someone who's been there a lot of hours, like the dance, perhaps.
Everyone loved the dance last year.
Dance was one of the most popular things for the school, to be honest with you, from all the students.
If anything, I'd do the game night, but I think, we have to pick and choose how much time we spend on things, and we don't always need to spend as much time as we have spent, like.
Yolande, we're not going to make you make hundreds and hundreds of feet of paper heart chains. We promise.
I will donate paper heart chains that I buy on Amazon if those are needed.
I totally hear what you're saying, and this gets back to what I apologize if I don't Udelka, is that correct? what she was saying that like there's a lot of parents here and people can contribute in other ways that aren't monetary. So we have had for the Winter Festival, we had 2 Saturday decoration making parties. Yolan was at both of them. I was at both of them. Yasmin, Yvette, Magdalena, I saw them all on Saturdays. Like, we need more people to show up to do, if we want to do all these things and we want them to look splashy and big, like we need more people to just come, like be the boots on the ground, like many hands make light work. And those are opportunities that like you're getting flyers about them, that it's not some sort of secret club, like it is a school-wide blast. Come decorate, come make something out of cardboard or whatever. And
Magdalena says,
yes.
come in person, please.
yeah, Magdalena says in person, please. I know it's hard for these meetings and like, you know, there's a lot going on, but for helping out, like, please, in person.
Bring your ideas.
Yes,
Bring
and
your
bring your
ideas.
ideas, exactly.
Everything in person. I know spring is big, but
Okay.
Okay, so if like we had this as a thing to vote on as our proposed calendar. So if you guys are, if everyone is okay with this, we can put it to a vote.
And this is just voting on
The events
events.
and the dates, the money stuff and like the targets, some of the stuff has been sort of already earmarked. Honestly, Cocoa and Canvas is free. Game night, like the concession and the 50-50 raffle, those things were already covered on your spreadsheet.
Yeah.
And those are the only fundraiser funding streams in this proposal. So that money has already been allocated.
And in January, I'm going to present the mid-year report, which is the financial report, for like where we are by January, basically. And we could vote for about the rest of the expenses at that point. And perhaps then, you know, you can have time to spread the word and get more people to the meeting so we get more voices.
Okay, so I am going to start the poll. Hold on just a second. Where's my,
Oh, principles are hard on things.
oh, that's wrong. Hold on. Where's my Zoom bar though?
It's up there, I think.
Oh, there we are. Okay.
Polls.
Okay. Okay, so, in, oh, sorry. Yes, I think so. Okay, so I am going to launch the poll. It's just one question and it's proceed with the 2024 events as proposed. So just the January movie night, February dance, March Cocoa and Canvas, April game night, May teacher appreciation, June end of year carnival. I'm now launching the poll for those of you at home and we are going to vote by show of hands for in person. So if you are in favor of the, we're voting. So if you are in favor of this calendar as proposed, please raise your hand. Okay, and if you are disagree with the proposed calendar, raise your hand. And if you decline to answer, raise your hand.
You didn't vote.
I know,
Do
my head
decline?
somewhere, my head somewhere. My head
Miss
somewhere
Haig,
else
you can
right
vote
now.
too.
Oh, I can vote?
Yeah.
Oh, I didn't know. I
Agree or
did that.
disagree?
But this is what you're
Just the
planning on so
calendar,
far
so
right
that we
now.
can go to you and be like, what days do we have available?
Oh, yeah, we better get that, you better come to us soon.
I know, that's why we're having this vote.
Okay.
Okay, so we have a unanimous 8 of 8 agreeing to the proposed calendar. And then here in person, we have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 of 6. Diane, thinking of other things. So,
My head somewhere else. I'm sorry.
okay, so great. Now we have a plan and we can all start planning together on these things. I'm gonna share
On
my,
to the fundraising committee, which is where we also do event planning on Tuesday night. Is
Aren't
it at
the-
6:30 or 7?
it's at 6.
Those are just
This is-
online, right?
Yeah, they're just online. They're just on Zoom.
It's not by me.
It's not by Mary Louise. I copied her slide from earlier because I thought I was getting a fancy slideshow
I do have,
from Miss Haig.
not Ms. Haig,
Uh,
Ms. Haig is not the principal, FYI.
Well, I know it's not, but I thought, I knew she was coming and I thought she would be,
I do
Like
have
that
it,
thing.
but, I don't know how I will. Maybe if I link up to there.
it won't pick up the Zoom. You'd have to log into my computer to share the Zoom. To the folks at home. Although I could show if you, hold on, we're gonna try some maneuvering. So I'm going to turn my camera around so you can see the projected board.
Oh, wait, give me a minute.
Oh, wait.
Sorry.
Might have to hit reset screen share or something.
I think you just,
You know, yeah, I will.
Where was that PBL presentation? I found the QR code, but I can't,
I can see.
I was gonna put it in the chat.
Well.
What did I- Is it in the email? somewhere?
Okay.
A link?
So. I will make this short and sweet. So we wanna go. Unless you wanna hang out.
Please.
Yeah.
Wrap it up.
Okay, so we do wanna say congratulations for our winter in New York City to our. And thank you so much to Ms. Rodriguez, Ms. Velasquez, and Mr.
Yes,
Pruitt for all their time and patience. And also the classroom teachers as well, because all those classes that were in the show also required extra behind the scenes work
Yeah,
with
they-
in their class, especially those babies.
The babies, they're good.
Yeah,
They really did good.
they're cutie. And then also Miss Valley, who is amazing, Miss Levels, Mr. Andon, AKA
Right.
Mr. Claus, Miss Mercado, Miss Torres, Miss Rivera, Miss Guarino, Miss
Yes.
Martinez, Miss Sullivan, Miss
Yes.
Savino, Miss Lanuza, Miss Barolero, Miss Denson, Miss Cruz, and Miss Avellino. These teachers also stayed, through the night
Yeah.
and kept their kids after school. It's a long day when you're in the building for over 12 hours. And you wouldn't, they did it because for the smiles that it brings to the students' faces, so we want to thank them for that. And then, I don't know, we've never had an event with so many parents that volunteered. There was a ton of parents that volunteered. The event was a success. Everybody, had nothing but good things to say about it, so we want to thank you guys.
Thank you.
And then what I am going to end off with is, because I know there are a lot of, we had our first principal chat and chew last week, right,
missed it, I
Magdalena?
missed it.
And Ms. Perez will be holding more of these throughout the school year. And what they are is that they focus on like one big question that comes off of some of the surveys that have been done in the past. And that are going to continue to happen so that she knows new questions to like focus on. So the question that was focused on at this past chat and chew was, how can we improve the percentage of parents who agree that the school regularly communicates important information to the families. And this has been like an ongoing focus for us here, like the best way. I remember like a few years ago, I remember Magdalena, where the parents were like, no more robocalls, because all that we would get, like, all that Meetha would send out robocalls, and there would be like 10 robocalls in a day, and like, you know, as a mom, like your heart like sinks once you see the school phone number come up. So, but what is like great, and we're not, I mean, 91% of our parents agree that the school makes an effort to reach out and engage with them directly, but you know, we're a little, we are not happy until we have 100%. We also are holding these because we want like more, you know, parent voice. We want you to come and share your thoughts, and especially if you know like what the focus question is, like if that's something that you really are passionate about, like it will gear you to like, you know, want to come. We also, what we started with is, you see in the first column, like what we already have in place that came from the surveys, where it was school-wide parent email distribution list, the New York City Public Schools Gamma text list, the Gamma email list. You get backpacked flyers, the posters that are hung up at the, you know, all of the exits on the school website, and the tiny, like the ticker tape, like that LED light outside in the front schoolyard. Some of why we had to make a change over into Gamma was because now DOE is being very specific into what distribution formats that we can use, because due to like data and the data breaches that have occurred, schools are encouraged very strongly to use Gamma and refrain from using any third party sources. Only IRMA approved vendors can be utilized. Those are if they are approved by DOE, they have to be on a specific list, and that's who we use. And this was all of those when we make a request, like Gladys, most of you know Gladys is our business manager. She has to get like 3 bids before we can go with a whatever it is that we're choosing to do. So it's not just like, oh, quickly, we can, you know, we wanna order whatever, t-shirts or whatever it is. We have to get 3 bids before we use any of school funds. So, that's when what else can we do? The last column is things that came up from that chat and chew. And the things in black are what we've already began doing. So like if you were here yesterday, we started some parents were not receiving the Gamma emails and the Gamma text messages. So what we were thinking of was like hosting an event that incorporates the filling out of the NYSHA account. Those are your parent your emails that link everything from the DOE to you. So yesterday we had Miss Amador, we had a school aide, Yesenia, and one of our new school aides as well, that were meeting parents and doing it on the spot, because sometimes it's, you know, if you are not used to using technology, it can be a little, you know, overwhelming at times. So we will be continuing to do that until we have like 100% of our parents, you know, registered and filled and having their accounts made, made. Also, we talked about, like, we want to make sure that we stick to this, like sending out information. This is one thing that we've talked about, and we know that sometimes things, you know, get lost or whatever, but that we want to send out like 10 days in advance any things that are going to be taking place. You know, that's why, you know, we send out the monthly calendars. Sometimes, yes, after the calendar is created, things come up, so we have to send you, backpack you things and,
Because something will be on the
something,
contract.
yeah, because like I already have like January's calendar done so that you guys can have it before we leave on break, so that and it's also for like, you know, any scheduling changes you may need to make, if you need childcare or you know, whatever it is, you have that, you know, that notice of that as well. We are also starting to change the like the format of the notices. I don't know if you get like the SLT notices where it's like the 5, the what, the why, the who structure, like, so that it's written like straight to the point and it's not like confusing, it's all there. So we talked about that. So moving forward, any flyers that are gonna go out are gonna go out in that format. We also, one of the ones that are in green are talking about like, oh, that that we need to put a bigger like parent bulletin board. Because the one that's in the vestibule is really small and we can't, the parents were talking about how like that's another way to, you know, disperse information is by, if you walk in, you could grab a flyer, but I don't even, it's like sometimes it's so small in that corner. Like even though it's labeled, but it still is small. So I mean, we are limited on wall space in that area, so we're trying to figure out like ways to do this. Also, you know, to send out an annual parent workshop calendar. In the past, we did have this, and this was our parent coordinator who used to create this. And then we all know that Miss Rivera retired this year. And we are in the process of finding us a new parent coordinator. What happens is that, you know, we've interviewed people and now we have to wait to get approval. First, C had to interview them and approve them as after us, and then it goes to central and we're waiting for the approval there. As soon as we are given that approval, then we are going to have, like, you know, like a meet, like, you know, we do meet the teacher, well, you'll meet your new parent coordinator and we'll start going through. So now you'll have that as well. That kind of immediate contact, because that's always like your first, it's easier to go to get to your parent coordinator and then them getting back to us. We also talked about, and this is something we talked about as well, like sending the parents, so every Thursday, we send the staff a week at a glance for upcoming things that are happening the following week. So that the teachers know, like, you know, if there are performances coming on, if there are, you know, we have consultants coming in and all of anything that could be happening in their week that may alter or change up their schedules or add to them, you know. It also tells them, like, you know, when we started after school or Saturday Academy. But starting to do that, this would be another part of the expectation of our parent coordinator to send out a weekly, a week at a glance for parents. So the same way, like we get it on Thursday, like we give it to our teachers on Thursday, it would be the same thing for you guys to get it on a Thursday as well for the week coming up, along with like your monthly calendars, those won't go away. And send also like to also with the parent coordinator, a lot of for her to create like a monthly, like, oh, hey, I don't know if you ever seen the magazine like Time Out New York, right? And it tells you all the things that are going on in New York, or so something like that, like free and low cost, like things that are happening in the community. I think that sometimes we get so like tied into our own world here that you don't even look like for certain things that are happening like right close. And it could be Manhattan too. I mean, you guys are like really close to Manhattan when you get on the train from here to there. I mean, I mean, I wouldn't go to see the tree, but I will just tell you that my brother puts up the tree at Rec Center, so you should go. It is amazing.
It's very-
And there will, like I said, Ms. Perez wanted you to know there will be more chat and choose coming up, and you will be notified of them in way in advance, because then you sign, like you could, there's a QR code that you sign up for, so that we just know. We like to feed you. We're a school that loves to feed. So we just want to make sure that we have everybody, you know, we have enough for everybody that's coming.
I'll be next one, I missed the
Oh.
next one.
And yeah, so come. And you know, this way you get to like share your thinking on specific topics, and you know what, it's really geared towards that one focus question, and that's what is discussed at that time. It's just how many ways can we get more people, like parent input? Because, you know, it's easy, sometimes we're like, okay, really, we could do this really quick, like, you know, but it's like, we like your input, because sometimes it's like, oh, I didn't think of that, you know, or I did think of it, and maybe I just needed that extra push, like, oh, it is a good idea, you know? So we love that, and we do love volunteers. Even if your kids are not in certain grades, when certain things come around, you know, if you are a parent of a 5th grader, we will, as soon as we come back from break, we will be having a 5th grade parent meetings to get us all ready for, you know, senior activities, senior trip, all of those goodies, senior week.
They need to use up with their margin or something.
We are
something.
busy.
Quick question about chat and chew. You said there was, each time you're talking about one specific topic. Is that announced in advance?
Mhm.
Okay.
Yeah, so on
Or
the,
thought.
on the flyer,
Okay.
it tells you what the topic will be,
Okay.
yeah.
Mm.
And that's what I was saying, like, so like certain things, like if it's like, oh, I really want to know about that, or that's something I really would like them to do a little differently or add to it, I'm gonna make sure that I sign up to go to that one, you know?
Mhm.
And you don't have to go to all of them.
Mhm.
That doesn't mean like it's a one and done, like if you sign up, you have to go to every single one. No, you can, we are very aware that the days go very fast.
Mhm.
And there's a lot of things to get, you know, that you have, and especially if you have like, you know, little ones at home and you have kids in multiple schools. So, yeah,
So the first step is the survey.
yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, to do the survey and, right? Yeah,
Tiffany Cortez had a
Oh,
couple of
let me see.
questions in the chat. One was about having the, all the meetings from the school being virtual. Is that a possibility to start doing, but I know the last few have all been in person only. Is that an option? Like, even if it's like, you know, you can't really participate, but at least you can kind of listen in virtually. I think that would be, I know that would be helpful for me too.
well, the chat and chew was a hybrid.
Not, well, that, and there's like other things, like there was like a, what was the one that was about, remote readiness and all that stuff, like, I mean,
And all of the curriculum
yeah, all the curriculum
that's
stuff.
happening.
Okay,
Like curriculum week.
Mhm.
yeah, yeah, I don't see why not. We can kind of hybrid it. I mean, when we do like the big ones that we use the auditorium, I think it will just be that you'll be able to listen in. I don't know, you know, about, but maybe I could have somebody like at the computer so that any questions that may arise, you can, those questions can come through.
I mean, it could just be like a live stream.
But I'm sure that we can
get
like,
the
that
presentation.
wouldn't be a problem.
I think even a live stream is a good idea, just like,
And then if you have questions, you can email or whatever, you know, you don't
Yeah.
necessarily have to have a discussion, but for me, I know there was like several curriculum things I would have liked to have attended, but it's hard enough for
I
me to
know.
do this,
No,
what
I
I
know.
do.
I know.
even like post like
Yeah.
a recording to YouTube or something.
Yeah, or the presentation, whatever.
Mhm.
And then Tiffany also wanted to know is
Will the Superwoman,
yeah, the
Superman-
Superwoman, Superman program. is-
So, fingers crossed, Tiffany, once we get our parent coordinator, then we're hoping that we can we're hoping that that will be in place by the time we come back from break. So we could start the next part of the school year with the parent coordinator and put those things in place. Because, yeah, we love those. And we love having more, now that we're allowed to be back in person, having parents in and having the dads come in, which I think is super important too, because we always see moms, you know, and it's great for the kids to even have those interactions, but not limited to just dad as well. I mean, even if it's a Superman, we do have moms too.
Samara wanted to know, what is that exactly, the program?
Oh, Samara, it's just a parent meeting. Superwoman is usually just the moms without the kids. And it happens we do workshops for the moms. There are wellness thing. We do we have different things that go on every week, like yoga, we do crafts. It depends. And we kind of survey what is going, what the parents may want in order to make those activities something that the parents would, the moms would be interested in coming to do. And then the fatherhood takes place usually in an evening, and that is with dad and the kids. And they come and they do the same type of thing, different activities, but they are with the kids. The moms is usually during the day, which I know we had spoken about when Yvette was here, that making maybe 1 month during the day for the motherhood, and then 1 month at night, so that moms that work, I was always a mom that worked, so it was hard to go to anything during the day. So you would I would go to everything at night, or, convince my mom to stay home and go during the day. But yeah, so we're hoping that once we have our parent coordinator, that we're able to put those back in place. I would love to have teachers and staff listed on the website with photos
I would also love
and
that.
email contact. It would really help in communication and building school community.
There used to be a page that had emails, but it
Email, not pictures.
Well, the school, each
But
class
even
used
the
to have a
email pictures.
website, and I feel like the class websites had pictures.
So here is the thing with that as well, the teachers are teacher UFT, they no longer have to do things through Google Classroom. They have to have a Google Classroom created in the event that we go out in remote. But they are so if your teachers are using Google Classroom, that's them doing it of their own time, and because they feel it's important to get their, whatever it is that they want to get across to the parents. But it is something that possibly we can
On the school webpage, you couldn't put them?
I would have to ask them if they wanted to be on the school webpage.
Even if it's on their pictures, at least the
you
email
know-
addresses again, because there was a page with staff emails, and
Mhm.
then now it's not there anymore.
And I know that, so yeah, we can, depend. Yeah, I mean, I can bring that back. I think that's it. Any other questions, guys?
I usually can't participate in many activities, but the main events that are planned are always the highlight for my daughter. Oh, that's so nice.
Oh,
Thank you, Zyra. I hope I said that correctly. That's really great to hear.
Hi, this is Clara and Amalia's mom.
oh, hey, how's it going?
Good. I just wanted to add a little bit, with the events that are planned for
Yeah.
this year. The dance is awesome and it's amazing, and the decorations were definitely beyond my capacity. However, I thought that it was very problematic with the supervision of the kids. I think that the fact that the kids were running around destroying the decorations was terrible. And maybe for this year, we can try to have a little more supervision of the event, because it was very upsetting and I didn't make one paper heart. And out of those thousands of paper hearts, and these were being torn down. And maybe like making the announcement, like, yeah, okay, you can't just come and drop off your kid. You gotta come and supervise them as well, because it's not fair for the amount of work that goes into that, you know.
That is a great point. It actually, if there were any children dropped off, they weren't supposed to be. It was a family dance party for that reason. And like all children were supposed to be accompanied by a parent, and we tried to
Yeah,
make that clear in all of our
but the
communication.
parents were like in one corner, and then they were letting the kids run around in mayhem, and you know, kids were getting hurt, decorations were being torn down, and it's not fair, and it wasn't safe.
Yeah,
Like
I absolutely agree.
I wasn't planning on sending my kids this year. I felt like it was very, very overstimulating, and it was not a safe. I mean, it was fine because I was there and I was watching my two, but for the others, like I had to help out some kids that were getting hurt. Like,
Yeah, I know that there were like kids running around, but I was not aware that anyone was hurt. I agree that like we need to have like a stronger kind of like rules of the road sort of perhaps signage or whatever, like a code of conduct for the dance, just because it did get a little out of hand. Like you know, it's an exciting time. There's lots of music, like
It
everybody's
is.
up.
And
But
another pointer that I wanted to say is, like, if you guys wanted to have more parent involvement, I think that maybe you could ask the teachers. There's 2 points of the year where teachers like get in contact with all or most of the parents. So maybe you could ask the teachers when they have their parent teacher conferences, when they have to have some kind of outreach with every single student's parent. Maybe at that point they can collect necessary information for the school. Let it be like an email address where the teacher can send out mass emails, or the parent coordinator can send out mass emails, and an active phone number for a text or something.
So we are able to, all of the PSA correspondence, it's kind of, there's a lot of rules around it that are actually like DOE rules, but we have to send all of our correspondence to Miss Amador, like to the school, so that they can send the broadcast email. And then any sort of direct communication, the parents have to opt into. So like
No,
when
no,
we're
I understand, but what I'm trying to say, I know the PSA can't generally have that contact, but even as a school, you do want to be able to get all the information out to all your parents. So teachers can collect the email addresses from the parents or phone numbers, so that Ms. Amateur can have like the most actualizado, like the most recent one,
Yeah,
for them
so
to be able to communicate.
something that we have tried to we did last year, I think that we need to send out another thing this year, is about like, we've tried to do class parents, where we tried to get a parent from each class to join like a WhatsApp list, and then we, you know, distribute the same information that we distribute through the school, but we try to like put it on the WhatsApp. So then, you know, if people missed it, then they, you know, there's one person who's like,
Yeah,
get a smaller group that they can.
I think that's a very good idea, and it's more effective because a lot of people have WhatsApp. So
Yeah, we did
now
it last
some
year, and
parents,
I do post everything on that WhatsApp still. But I think, you know, the classes have gotten mixed up now, so we probably need to do it again and make sure that we have at least one parent for each class. The only problem is, like, you know, it's up to that parent to always try to like get to those people, and we can't always guarantee it, but I think it has helped somewhat. But we do send out all the communications, like all the same communications in multiple ways. There's like a Facebook group that parents formed, there's the WhatsApp. I know I'm on my kid has a classroom WhatsApp that we formed, you know, at the beginning of the year, and I know I send out stuff on there too. So yeah, but we could
no,
try to make sure we
I was
have.
just giving some pointers because, you know, but I think that communication definitely has improved. I feel like the school still needs to work on a little bit, not necessarily with the communication, like how to communicate, but communicating a little with more time between the events. In some cases, things are being sent out the night before. And that's a little frustrating because we as parents can't pre-plan in advance. But it has gotten better from when Clara started, so I guess that's a good thing. And I'm sure the 91 will be raised a little bit.
I think, yeah, I think, the communication thing is something that regularly comes back on the feedback forums, like our survey that we sent out in the beginning of the year, that was like one of the number one concerns. So it is definitely a work in progress, and we're like constantly trying to like chip away, to make it better for everybody.
Okay, well, thank you. Have a good night. Happy holidays.
Thank you so much for coming, and thank you for your feedback. Anything else before we close out? I'm just gonna share my screen so we can get back to
Back on topic.
I just have a couple of quick reminders. So Brighter Bites pickup is tomorrow, December 15th. The fundraising meeting is 6 o'clock on December 19th. Hopefully a lot of you on the call will attend. It sounds like you have a lot of good ideas.
I put the link in the chat to join.
Yeah, and we'll be sending out a reminder notice. Also, winter break, I'm sure no one has forgotten, but it is technically December 25th because it's a Monday this year, through January 1st. And then the PSA general membership meeting, when we get back from break, will be Thursday, January 11th. We meet the second Thursday of every month at 6 o'clock, both in person and on Zoom. And then the January movie night, which was approved tonight, the exact date will be TBD, but I will be emailing administration tomorrow. So hopefully we can get an actual date on everyone's calendar, and that will go out on the January calendar when it gets backpacked before break. And again, don't forget to check backpacks next week for photos. We will be sending out a notice when they are in fact sorted and distributed. So if anyone has any other questions, okay, well then that's a wrap. If you do have something that comes to mind, please contact us at by email psa@ps376.com. This meeting is adjourned. Thank you so much.
Good night. Thank you. Get home
Thank
safely,
you.
all of you over there. Get home safely.
Thank you.